60s, works low, curve, drop. Also developed a rise and uses that to go north and south.
Middle Tennessee awaits the winner of this matchup between the Crimson Tide and the Sharks. Cam Lyman hitting .317 on the year. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. And how about this atmosphere? They are loud, they are proud. They arrived at the conclusion of our first game.
Well, we did hear Coach Murphy talk about how great of a fan base that Alabama softball has. You can see that here tonight. It's almost a packed house. See some pom-poms in the stands. I think they call that shakers here at the Rose Stadium.
Oh, popular in the fall at Bryant-Denny, certainly here in the Rhodes house. Torrance delivers the 1-1. Excuse me, 2-2, the check swing.
I don't know, that one was iffy, but doesn't matter what I think.
Crowd comes to life and chopped foul down the first baseline. Cameron Lyman, the redshirt senior, Chino Hills, California. Number 24 for LIU. She was the NEC tournament MVP, former rookie of the year back in 2019 in that conference. Torrance delivers the 2-2 low.
Lyman, like I said, has such a great eye, great discipline. With 40 walks on the year, the next Shark having only 13 walks behind her.
Good place to be at the top of the order. The payoff from Torrance. Fly ball straight away center. Charging is White, and the freshman records the first out.
Big out by Torrance to set the tone. The best hitter in the Long Island Sharks lineup today.
Kristen Blanchard is due up next. A senior out of Staten Island, New York, rather. And a quick swing. Pop up on the right side. Broadfoot, 2 away.
2 for 2. Torrance using that rise ball to her advantage, getting some pop-ups.
Crimson Tide, historically elite. Fantastic, insert adjective here in regional games going back to 2005. Nobody has been better, Alicia.
They're just a powerhouse. Even when I was in school, I mean, one of the most feared teams in the SEC and in the country. Just have that legacy. I think it's just deeper than Saul, but there's a legacy that they have.
As they like to say in these parts, Alabama, where legends are made. They have been legendary. 52-3 mark going back to 05. Here's Alyssa Polamini. It's written on the dugout. And just about everywhere else, the second you enter T-Town, the billboards will tell you about it. Ball and a strike, Torrance comes home. The nerves in making a start tonight. Do you remember what it's like and how difficult it is to overcome those, especially for an underdog like LIU?
You know, I think these can always be nerve-wracking, these situations where you come in and face the top, one of the top seeds. I mean, they're 5 in the nation in seeding, but I think in order to be successful in these situations, you have to control your heartbeat. You have to remember this is a game you've been playing for a long time. It's just the game of softball, and to kind of control your heartbeat throughout.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the first. What a scene in Tuscaloosa. And the crowd will tell you the story. Cahalan over to first, and 1, 2, 3 go the Sharks. Crimson Tide coming up to bat. They've got something to prove. They've heard the narrative. Will it show up tonight? Let's find out.
It's done. Get on base. Set the tempo.
One interesting note as well. No Jenna Johnson this evening. We were told she's injured. Jordan Stevens gets the start over in left field, batting 8th tonight. Halen will lead things off. The shortstop. 7 homers, 27 driven in. A great atmosphere. The Rhodes House. And Kinley in the outside corner. Lindsey Cowens gets the start. Sophomore, Camarillo, California. 16 wins on the season, Alicia.
What I love about Lindsey Cowens is she is not afraid to get in someone's kitchen and throw inside to these batters, as you see right here. She's going to come with a curve, fastball, rise, change, and drop. Throw the low to mid 60s and just really work up and down to get most of those outs that she is inducing.
You can only imagine the pulse is rising. A start like this in an atmosphere like this. Slow roller, Avila over at first will apply the tag for the first out.
That is a big out by Cowens. Get the leadoff batter out. Sets the tempo, sets the tone, brings a lot of confidence moving forward for yourself and the rest of the defense.
Here's Larissa Pruitt. You could feel the postseason tension in our first game today between Middle Tennessee and Central Arkansas. Bears came in, they were 3rd in the country in team ERA. It was a 7-run 5th inning that was the difference in an 8-0 5-inning victory by Middle Tennessee.
Well, you know, we talked about Central Arkansas that first game. They were not afraid to go in and face any competitor, but it was Middle Tennessee who really took advantage of their miscues and those hit by pitches. And hey, yeah, they might have got a few hits along the way to get those runs, but really great job coming out on top by Middle Tennessee.
Pruitt, a freshman, second team All-SEC. Batting in that 2 spot. 1-2 the count.
Last outing went 2 for 4 against the loss versus Tennessee.
Imagine this moment for her. 2022 Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year. Popped it up. Who wants it? Catcher Garcia. Sam will grab it for the second out. 2 up, 2 down, and that'll bring up Pranky. Alicia, when you know you've got a hitter that's been in the zone for the last couple of weeks, the approach in the circle facing number 29, you have to be careful, I would assume. What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely have to be careful, but not too careful to where you're throwing instead of pitching.
Lined into left field for a base hit. Pranky, a big turn at first. Here comes the throw. She will reach second, standing up. And the first hit of the evening goes to the Crimson Tide and Ashley Pranky.
Pranky just doing a really good job at taking this pitch. But Cowens in the river. Pranky does a good job at getting her hands inside of this pitch, getting it to left center field, and recognizes that she may able to take second base and legs this one out for a double.
7th double of this season. And the Crimson Tide in business in the bottom of the first, looking to strike first. Haley Dowling takes outside.
Cowens and the Sharks still with 2 outs with 1 runner in scoring position, and Dowling looking to get their first run of the game.
Talk with Coach Murphy, Crimson Tide players yesterday about number 5 seed into left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Here comes the throw home, and Pranky makes it 1-0 tie. The single and the RBI for Bailey Downing.
Have an ovation here. Everybody's on their feet in the Rhodes Stadium right now for Dowling as she just turns on that inside pitch, allowing Prangy from second base to come around and score. Getting the first RBI of the game. You see all the energy screaming at her teammates in the dugout.
Here's Allie Shipman. Rise ball high. I was going to say, Allie Shipman was one of the players we spoke to. We mentioned the number 5 seed, asked for her thoughts on what was the narrative nationally. Maybe the Crimson Tide were selected a bit too high. And she said, it's not even been a topic of conversation for us. We aren't paying attention. We know what we're capable of. And in the same conversation, they reference the fact that, yeah, this team's a little chippy as a result of some of the things they've heard. And ready to show out this weekend. Great grab by Padilla from her knees. How about that strike?
With 2 doubles in a row.
Junior out of Victorville, California, Victor Valley High School, 268 on the season. Second team all NEC this year. And a major source of leadership in terms of production in a multitude of other ways for head coach Roy Cortman. Torrance remains in the circle. 1-1.
Torrance just blowing it by Padilla. Guess you can call her a flamethrower, throwing in the high 60s.
A couple of those here this weekend in Tuscaloosa. 2-2.
Last game had Beaver and Johnson throwing in the upper 60s.
Well, Beaver told us yesterday, too, she clocked 73 at one point. Coach had to double check the radar gun to make sure it was working accurately. They brought in another one and she hit 73 again. And UCA pitching staff, 3rd in the country that we talked about. The Bears out of the A-Sun. It's the other thing here in Tuscaloosa, 3 conference champions a part of this regional. Conference USA, the A-Sun, and here tonight the NEC facing Alabama.
An extremely competitive weekend. It has been, and it is going to be. Before earlier, their breakout inning in Central Arkansas, not being able to hold Middle Tennessee down. I mean, it was really competitive up until that point.
Called strike 3 and the first strikeout for Jayla Torrance.
Torrance just locked in right now with that screwball. This is a little bit over the plate, but gets the job done for strike 3.
Nothing our score in the top of the second. Maya Avila, senior, Santa Clarita, California. Second team all NEC as well, the marketing major, batting It's been an interesting season for LIU. It's been an interesting couple of years, as back in 2019, the two campuses comprise the university. The decision was made to merge the two entities, and for Roy Cortman, meant that his team would basically be playing its home games on the road. Driven into the gap and all the way to the wall. Stevens couldn't catch up to it, and a one-out double off the bat of Avila.
Avila just bringing so much energy. That celebration. Getting inside of that 68 miles per hour. Fastball turning and clearing her hips. Not able to quite grab it in a does all that she can, but Avila here with a double to start the Sharks off.
Her 15th of the season. Narvaez, first pitch swinging. Was it caught? It was not. Our view was blocked. Diving attempt. Hevelin.
Hevelin almost had it in her glove, but popped out a little bit. Almost looked like her other hand got in the way. But those balls have to be caught in foul territory.
Narvaez takes low. That'll even the count. We mentioned Stevens over in left field. Jenna Johnson did not get the start tonight. The senior from Franklin, Tennessee, as you see Narvaez.
Made quite an impact here already as her freshman year is nearing the end. Like you said, second team all NEC, all rookie team as well. See her confidence right now stepping into the box. Giving Bama a run for their money right here at the top of the second.
One out double by Avila. Narvaez, the second baseman, waiting the 1-2 from Torrance. Served into right field and caught. What a grab by Pruitt. Avila will be doubled up at second and put a star by that one. Crimson Tide, 1-0 our score, bottom of the second. Quite the scene so far. Zimmer Broadfoot will lead things off for Alabama here.
I think what's been so cool about those web gems that we've seen is they've both come at 2 outs. So these players are showing grit, knowing what they have to do to get that last out and turn over the inning.
Broadfoot, the transfer from North Alabama. Started 96 games over the course of 2 seasons there. She'll work a 2-0 count to start the second. Cowens worked quickly in the first. 2 quick outs, then a double and a base knock. Produced the first run of the game.
He's talked about those transfers coming in too, and how we have to get them to kind of mold into this team or connect with the other players. And actually in the fall, they had a team retreat in Utah, and
that would chop foul. The count moves to 3-2.
Utah,
it's Utah, Alabama, by the way, not
yes.
The state of Utah, which is what I thought when he first said it.
Yeah, Utah, Alabama. So I took them on a retreat where they, had bonfires, s'mores. The team divided into 4 smaller teams. Kind of did a bunch of cool and fun activities.
Rise ball misses high, and the first walk issued by Cowens. Winner of this game will get Middle Tennessee tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. Right back here in Tuscaloosa. The loser will face Central Arkansas, an elimination contest. That's at 3:30 Eastern. And the bracket indeed is that simple, although it can get rather complex once teams start winning and losing. And when everybody gets a loss, it really starts to get interesting come Sunday. if that happens, of course. Broadfoot over at first. Hevelin now the hitter. And Callie behind in the count 0-1. Seven starts this season for Callie, mostly at second base. Hammers this one to deep left. Going back, Okada at the wall, and it's gone. A two-run blast, the 7th of the season for Hevelin.
Hevelin just absolutely annihilates this ball into left field. I think it's still soaring right now in the sky, actually. She hits this so high, so far. I mean, it is a no-brainer off the bat. You can see right here, she just turns on this pitch a little bit elevated. Cowens knows it right off the bat. But this ball is sky high, might have even touched the cloud.
As long as it doesn't bring the rain down with it.
Hope we're all clear this weekend. No rain. It's raining home runs, hopefully, for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
And a pitching change will be made for the Sharks. We'll step aside. 3-0 our score. No one out here in the second. New pitcher in the circle, Alyssa O'Donnell, the sophomore right-hander. Alabama 3-0 lead back in Tuscaloosa. Here's Jordan Stevens. She got the start tonight over in left field. It'll be her 14th of the season. As you take a look, sophomore from St. Cloud, Florida.
How ironic that I'm also from St. Cloud, Florida. So it's cool to see her on the mound, but she's gonna throw a curveball. That's her go-to pitch, but best when utilizing her rise ball like that, changing eye levels, going with her change combo. She has a drop ball, doesn't really throw it often, but she's looking to keep those hitters off balance by changing the eye levels and setting them up for something off speed.
LIU has faced one team here in Tuscaloosa in the regular season. That was Middle Tennessee. Stevens to Castro at short.
O'Donnell using that rise ball here and inducing a pop fly to get first out of the inning. Big statement for first out.
I was going to ask you her mentality, simply come in the circle and find ways to get outs and give her team a chance in the top of the third as quickly as possible.
I don't think she has to do anything besides be herself. I mean, yeah, the deficit is 3-0, but I think the best thing that she can do is just try to give her team a chance, keeping these hitters off balance.
There's the freshman, Kristen White, and the corner infielders will pinch in.
Not even just the corner infielders, but they have a shift going on. The right fielder is playing second base. The second baseman is up the middle. Shortstop pinched in the 5-6 hole. It looks like they're trying to play to the scouting report and the spray chart to take away any hit that could be in the left side of the infield.
I have to admit, I can't tell you the last time I saw a right fielder playing at second base with three infielders in between second and third, as you take a look at the freshman from Phoenix City, Alabama.
Yeah, and as a hitter, Kristen White can't necessarily try to think of going against the scout. She just has to put her best swing on a good pitch.
She'll do that, batted down by Padilla. Can't recover in time to make the throw. White's aboard.
And she is smiling because she hit it exactly where they wanted to, but ended up making an error and leaving her on first base.
White credited with a single, at least initially. That'll take us back to the top of the order. Plenty of fireworks already here in Rhodes House.
In situations like that, Long Island playing to her spray chart, you can't make those mistakes, especially when you know it's coming. with a team like Alabama and also turning over their lineup.
Kinley Cahalan, 0 for 1 tonight. Shade under 300 on this season.
Now you have Kristen White on first base, who leads the team in steals, grabbing 12 out of 15.
She'll take off, and the throw comes in late. Now 13 of 16 in the stolen base department, and the Tide with another runner in scoring position.
It wasn't about if she would steal, it was about what pitch is she going to steal on. Great speed by White to get to second base. Now giving Cahalan an opportunity for an RBI here.
Over to second. Arvase over to first. That'll put White at third with 2 away.
They were not to make that error. They would have no runners on. Actually, they would have 3 outs, but then they would have Pruitt up as a leadoff instead of run around third with an opportunity to score her with a base hit.
Well, Pruitt made the spectacular play in right field, the conventional 9-4-6 double play. In the top half of the inning, she comes up to bat in the bottom.
I just love seeing the Web Gems, just players laying out, putting it all on the line, showing their grit, showing their heart. I mean, why not? You work all off season, all year to play this game. Why not give it your all? I just love watching players show their passion by going out for their pitchers.
Rise ball upstairs. It's 2-0. I mean, they work for this moment to be able to host and have a chance to play to get to Oklahoma City.
Exactly. So why not make the most of those opportunities and do what you can to secure these wins, like laying out.
Pitch will grab the outside corner. Crimson Tide with a run in the first 2 so far in the second. Callie Hevelin hit her 7th home run. Deep into the Alabama sky, as Alicia indicated.
I think it's still going.
Chop to second, Narvaez up to the challenge. The third and final out. Callie Hevelin, home run number 7. You see her numbers, you know how productive she is in the circle with a variety of pitches. Alicia can do so many things for this program, and we're hoping we're going to see her at some point this weekend, but in reality, they could somehow find a way to win this regional. Another week's worth of rest for her may be valuable in a run to the Women's College World Series.
Definitely valuable to have a little bit more longevity going into regionals, super regionals, in the World Series, assuming they make it all the way there. But I think what was so impressive to me, I mean, obviously her stats speak for themselves, but I think the intangibles, just watching that game and seeing how she was speaking gospel into her teammates, just hearing Allie Shipman and her other teammates talk about her yesterday and just how great the character that she has, how big of an impact that she makes. But also Patrick Murphy is just so confident and the rest of their staff to be able to get things done.
Garcia to short for out number 1. Cahalan, a nice play on the move. Nothing easy about that sequence. Allie Shipman yesterday talking with us just discussed at length how Montana Fouts has made everybody in that dugout better. Not only with her skills, her leadership, but just lifting her team in the circle and even out. Okada fouls off the first pitch.
And if you're watching that game, you could see how hard she was cheering in the dugout even after she had to come off the field.
She really has been the face of the sport the last couple of years. Inside corner makes it 0-2. Jayla Torrance has been Rock solid tonight. She's only given up one hit. And that was a double by Avila back in the second. She has a strikeout as well. Just one so far. Make it two.
Torrance just mowing him down right here. You can see her poker face. She is ready to compete today, and she is showing it right here with this curveball on the inner half of the corner. And Fouts, her biggest cheerleader in the dugout. I think what's so special is Torrance has the tools. She has the competitiveness. Just knowing that there might be a chance that the staff has to pick up the slack if Montana Fouts can't compete. You can just see it on her face right here. She is ready to go. She's shown that thus far.
Rise ball goes to the backstop. Pitch number 37 from Jayla Torrance.
Almost sounded like, have you ever played Wii Sports?
I have not.
The crowd, it almost sounded like the crowd in Wii Sports. The reaction from the fans with that ball hitting the backstop.
I'm familiar with the sound as Castro takes outside. 2 balls and a strike. 2 quick outs here in the top of the third. Alabama leading LIU by 3. Alexia, just a freshman out of Bakersfield, California. It was interesting talking to LIU yesterday how many players are from the West Coast for a team that resides on Long Island, practices in Brooklyn.
The Big Apple. They wanted a taste of the melting pot.
Cameron Lyman from Chino Hills, California. Padilla from Victorville, Cali. Avila from Santa Clarita.
Well, California is a hot spot and almost a breeding ground for tremendous softball athletes. So you're going to see a lot of, I guess you could say, Californians around the country at different programs. And they have 11 from the West Coast on their staff.
At LIU. Straightaway center. White makes the grab. And a 1-2-3 frame for Jayla Torrance. 3-0 our score in T10.
Alabama looking to come back and give them a run for their money.
Third baseman Ashley Prange. Sooners have won 43 games in a row before today. 51-1 on the season. And think about this for a second. You played in the SEC at Florida.
For a few years.
You won the national championship. Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC after next summer. You can only imagine what that's going to do for that conference just in terms of sheer power for the league. I mean, almost everybody makes the tournament most years anyways. You had 12 teams in this season. Hard to imagine what that's going to look and feel like in the future.
Yeah, and I've been asking a lot of people their thoughts. And Oklahoma and Texas, strong teams, I think is going to make the SEC even more competitive. SEC is a hard conference, but when you add these two teams who have performed at the top of theirs, I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Prange was excited for that pitch. O'Donnell was able to get it past her. Interesting battle ensuing here. And O'Donnell proves victorious with a strikeout.
O'Donnell setting her up with the pitch up and away, coming back with something off speed, low and inside in the zone. This buckles. You can see it here. She's throwing a rise ball up, getting Prange to swing. Now changing her eye levels and changing the speed. Gets her to buckle on the inside pitch. Really big out by O'Donnell.
Dowling a big cut on the first pitch that she just saw from O'Donnell. Bailey a base hit and an RBI. Back in the first inning. winning a national championship, how hard is it?
It is extremely hard, but one of the most rewarding things that, you know, me and my team has accomplished. I mean, you work all year long doing the little things right, and that's what Coach Walton preached, doing the little things right. From 6 a.m. workouts, I mean, can't tell you how many times I've gotten yelled at for turning the wrong way at a 6 a.m. workout.
And you're half asleep, probably.
I'm half asleep. Probably got there 1 minute, like at 5:59, but.
The shortstop and Castro running backwards for the second out.
I think it takes way more than the physicality aspect of it. We talked a little bit about it in the first game. You just have to be mentally tough. You have to be gritty. You have to be able to deal with failure and adversity in those moments, because not everything's going to go your way. But if you can control the controllables, your effort, your attitude, your discipline.
I hear gritty and I think about dancing, but you're talking about an entirely different version of grit.
Right. With the T, not a D this time.
Past the diving Castro into left field. And a base knock for Allie Shipman. She's 1 for 2, and the inning continues here in the bottom of the third.
Castro, her first step is really good. I think she would have got her glove down maybe just a tad bit, she would have been able to make this catch, but nonetheless, great effort by the shortstop to try to get this out, but Shipman just moses it by her.
Emma Broadfoot walked her first time up, later came around to score the home run by Hevelin. Inside out swing and a slow roller, awkward toss, and it's in time. Nothing easy about that.
What a play.
Coach, second time through the order coming up, starting with Cameron Lyman. What do you want to see different maybe from your group?
Well, I think we're doing an okay job defining the zone, just making it bring it up a little bit. We've stuck a couple balls. I'd just like to see us maybe get a little bit ahead in count and not fall behind as much.
I know Donald, I mean, she came in and kind of shut Alabama down, only giving up 2 hits in 2 innings. What have you liked from her so far?
Exactly that. I mean, she's got a lot of poise. She's played in the junior college national championship, so she's been around a little bit, and we certainly need her to come in and give us a couple zeros. She's been terrific. Coach,
we look forward to the rest of this one. Congrats on the season, and best of luck rest of the way.
Hey, same to you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
NEC champions, the LIU Sharks. Talk with him a little bit during the break. Just asked him about the environment, what it's been like. He's played in Alabama before as a head coach up at LIU, and he said it just doesn't get much better.
No, it doesn't, and it's actually friends with Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy saying that in a recent interview, so have relationships here, but going back to their conference win, we talk about grit all day today, but I think what was so gritty about their conference win was that they beat Merrimack twice after losing to them, having an automatic berth because Merrimack was making that transition to D1.
It seems like it's that way in every sport where they should be invited to the NCAA tournament, and they're not because of that transition you just mentioned.
Yes, exactly. We talked about earlier, but I just...
Lyman golfs that one into left field, and Stevens up to the challenge this time.
What a good ball on that one. Pathetic play by going over the right shoulder to grab that, but
she took a step in to begin with, then quickly retreated. Then after getting rid of the ball, just kind of threw her arm down. I got this. Jenna Johnson tonight for the Crimson Tide. Here's Kristen Blanchard. When you think about it, you're missing 2 outstanding players, Montana Fouts and Jenna Johnson. Bunted foul, it's 0-2.
We talked to the players yesterday just about picking their teammates up, and I think this, you know, with another player out, kind of the same scenario. To fill in and get things done regardless, but Montana and Johnson in the dugout having their back, cheering them on.
Off the bounce, it'll make it a ball and 2 strikes. Kristen Blanchard, another one of those players, Alicia, that Participated in multiple sports in high school. Ran indoor track, played soccer. Soccer to me is one of those sports, regardless of what sport you end up playing, let's say in college. If you grow up and you play soccer, the footwork seems to really translate into a multitude of other good things for athletes.
Well, you hope it does. You hope it does, but I absolutely think in order to play soccer, you kind of have to be a little bit fast, and that Blanchard is. She's quick, and I think when you play other sports too, it just makes you more well-rounded, more agile. You're able to, like you said, move your feet a little bit better, open your hips a little bit better, maybe run faster, jump higher, be quicker.
There's Alyssa Polomini, 0 for 1 today. I like your analysis there, though. If you play soccer, you're probably fast to begin with. It makes sense.
Hopefully,
right?
you might not see, your adolescent years. Not everybody's probably Usain Bolt.
No.
But she is.
Rise ball goes right past Polomini. What do you make of what you've seen from Jayla Torrance so far? He's only given up the 1 hit, and I think that only tells part of the story with 3 strikeouts.
I think her movement, she's working the zone really well with her movement and then throwing that pitch down the zone. We talked to Allie Shipman yesterday and just her growth in developing a drop, and she has used that today already. I think when you develop a pitch and you can throw it at an elite level, it's going to change the dynamic of how you set your pitches up. And she's able to throw that and set batters up in different ways, especially when she can throw to all quadrants.
And she's got that look in her eye tonight. Full count and a good take by Polomini.
And Polomini coming into this weekend leading her team in batting average to .339.
And the payoff. Inside corner for a called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Jayla Torrance, and what a start for number 21 in white. Coming up next, head coach of the Crimson Tide, Patrick Murphy. Fired her last 7 in a row, and you've got 3 2-out hits. So far, I think it's working out fairly well for your squad. Your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, God bless you, brother. And thanks for being here. I know this is 2 first-time announcers at the Rhodes House, so we're really glad that both of you are here. But I have been harping on 2-out hits since probably February 20th. So it's been a good night so far. Hopefully we can keep it going. And then Jayla, the last inning, her changeup was awesome. And that was a little surprise there. She hadn't thrown it much before that, but it was a really good pitch that inning.
Yeah, it looked really good. And I was going to ask you about that on the offensive side. I mean, O'Donnell's came in and done a really good job. How can you try to hit her to get some more insurance runs tonight?
Yeah, we need to. She's got a really good, off speed. It's almost like a rise ball. And it's a changeup that kind of rises. So we need to lay off that, see it down in the zone. I think we'll be okay.
Coach, I knew it was going to be lit. I didn't know it would be like this.
Awesome.
We appreciate it tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being here, you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Patrick Murphy, head coach, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Packed house here at Rhodes. Jayla Torrance, 4 strikeouts, 4 solid innings, minus Montana fouls. So far, so good for the Tide. Middle Tennessee awaits the winner. Back to live action, bottom of the 4th inning. Tide 3-5-0. LIU 0-1-0. Callie Hevelin will lead things off. Hit her 7th home run, a 2-run blast deep into the night. Back in the 2nd.
Still going. I think O'Donnell's doing a really good job tonight at using the plate, trying to test the umpire's strike zone. You see that last pitch, that curveball was on the river chalk, so she wants to see.
Swatted, straightaway center. Blanchard going back, leaps and makes the grab. What a play in center field.
All smiles for Blanchard. Donald just leaves this one a little bit too elevated. Blanchard does a good job at reading this ball, going back, grabbing it. Knowing how that might have shifted the game a little bit if she didn't catch this ball, but really athletic play for her pitcher, O'Donnell.
That's a great way to describe it. Athletic indeed. Here's Jordan Stevens.
Talked about it a little bit before about testing the umpire strike zone. And O'Donnell just throwing those pitches on the corner to see how much wiggle room she has.
Awkward hop. Padilla at third makes another nice play. 2 up, 2 down for the tie.
Padilla, quick feet. She might have played soccer when she was smaller with those quick feet, but getting behind him in the second out of the inning.
How many sports did you play growing up before you settled in with softball in Florida, winning national championship and doing all the great things you did in Gainesville, and then since then?
You know, I played quite a few. My mom actually, I was a ballerina. Got kicked out. I wasn't flexible enough. Did ice skating.
They kicked you out?
I couldn't do anything. I literally couldn't move. When you're an athlete, you just need mobility. You need flexibility. You need to be able to move and be agile. And I just
still a bit harsh.
Wasn't that? It is. You know, I got to stretch every day, make sure I'm still keeping up. But definitely multi-sports growing up.
It's Kristen White and O'Donnell working quickly, and a couple of nice plays center field and over at the hot corner to help her out.
Padilla making grabs over there, getting the job done on the hot corner. Minus that one mishap.
And fouled straight back. Two balls and a strike to Kristen White as O'Donnell sees it go right past her into center field. White now 2 for 2.
White, last at bat, hits it right into the shifted defense at Padilla. Was still able to get on base. You can see the shift here. 3 infielders on the left side, but White hammering that pitch right back up the middle for a base hit, going against that spray.
Another 2-out hit for the Crimson Tide. White, we know, has plenty of speed at first. Stole a base in the second. Back
like
to the top of the order here.
Yeah, it looked like she was going on that pitch as well. I mean, we talked about it before. It's not about if she's going to steal. Right now, it's what pitch.
It's not if, it's when.
Yes.
It's like you as a former pitcher, you have this sixth sense of what's getting ready to happen. Notice that now.
You kind of feel it, yeah.
Yeah. I'll say our second game working together. Anytime you make a projection, it seems like it happens.
Played for quite a few years.
Right.
But as a fielder, you kind of sneak a look at the third base coach.
On the move again. That time it's 1-2.
Yes. Trying to steal again. See her stealing on that pitch, looking in just to see what the outcome might be on that pitch. But like I said, as a fielder, I'm peeking in to the third base coach just to see if they're giving a sign, see if there's anything that's different.
Halen golfs this one to left field. Okada tracks it down easily, and the 2-out single is for naught. 3-0 our score. 4 innings in the books here in Tuscaloosa. Only on the ESPN networks. Torrance remains in the circle, and a first pitch to Padilla is caught out in right field by Pruitt. Middle Tennessee awaits the winner of this game tonight. So far, so good for Alabama.
Long Island is putting balls in play, though. I mean, Torrance struck out 4 so far, but these Sharks are going straight at her.
Vila has the only hit of the game for LIU. Sharks have put 9 balls in play up to this point. Jayla Torrance in the circle. Her production speaks for itself.
That's when you have to credit the defense for making those plays. And they have made those plays. We've seen a couple of web gems today, like you said. Pruitt out in right field, laying it on the line and stretching out to get that ball laying flat.
I'll give Pruitt a web gem. Blanchard in center field for LIU one, and Padilla at third has made 2 really strong plays.
Talk about it a lot. Defense winning championships can only bring you so far, but you have a pitcher in the circle holding it down and a defense to back you up. You're in good shape. You're able to hold teams down, give yourself a better chance to produce offensively.
Vila, the first baseman. It's 1 home run on the year. Will serve this one down the right field line, and there's Pruitt again.
I think she has a magnet in her glove. But this ball by Torrance, not a bad pitch at all. But hangs just enough for Pruitt to grab it in right field.
Well, about 7 more minutes of daylight before the sun officially sets here in Tuscaloosa. Maddie Narvaez, the hitter. She sent a laser beam. There you see the orange sky off on the horizon. Narvaez, arguably the most important moment of the night after Avila's double. Sent a shot to right field that somehow, some way, Pruitt caught up to. And then your traditional 9-4-6 double play ensued, with Avila thinking she was going to be able to sneak home. And that really stole all of the mojo away from LIU at that point. Still just a 3-0 game and plenty of time left.
Torrance kind of plating that one a little bit, but you can get away with throwing it over the plate sometimes when you have such powerful speed and you're able to create good enough spin to make it jiggle and move.
Popped up right side, foul territory, and Broadfoot after a 1-2-3 frame. Alicia Ocasio in the booth with us tonight, and she's won back in 2021. Gotta love it, and all smiles here in the booth, like what we're seeing in the Crimson Tide dugout so far this evening in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, she's gotten it done. Won the Women's College World Series at Florida. Had a chance to participate in a three-peat, although you came in the second year they won it. They won it the year before you were playing there in Gainesville, but you were part of that roster and kind of what Oklahoma's trying to do this year with the three-peat. Do you remember anything that stood out that particular season?
I just remember knowing that there was just a big target on our backs. A lot of pressure, but we didn't feed into it. But also reminding ourselves that pressure is a privilege, but not trying to emulate exactly what we did the last year. Just do what we do best, because your team changes every year. You just got to be the best version of your team that year and compete, really. But it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to win a national championship as it is, but it's even harder to win it twice and extremely difficult to do it a third time.
2-1 to Pruitt in the air. Castro 3 paces deep in the outfield grass for the first out. An important start tonight for Jayla Torrance across multiple levels. Only 63 pitches through 5 innings. Thinking about what she's been able to do in the circle, no Montana fouls. That kind of efficiency, you have to think that that bodes well, at least so far, for the Crimson Tide, Alicia.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're that efficient, only 5 innings, 63 pitches, retiring the last 10 too, I might add. Looks good for the rest of the weekend for her. She's able to continue on this same track that she's on right now, and obviously recovering well as well, doing little things that she needs to do to stay fresh. Not just Torrance, but the whole staff, with Montana Fouts being day-to-day.
Well, she's making just her 7th start of the year tonight, and the last time she started a game in the circle was back in the middle of March. So again, a bit of a different feel coming in with this kind of situation, postseason play. Home crowd, of course, rooting you on, your dugout, getting into it as always. But as a starter, the league where they say it just means more, it literally does mean more for her this evening.
It does, and can't stress enough that Coach Patrick Murphy just really feels confident, and the rest of the staff says that they are prepared for these moments. Jayla Torrance has pitched most midweeks, so she does have innings under her belt, and Salter beating Tennessee, a top-ranked team, who, by the way, won tonight. But she has pitched in those moments and performed, so he's confident with them in the circle.
2-2 to Ashley Prange. She doubled and then struck out back in the 3rd. Rhodes House is rocking as we expected. This crowd's only going to get larger and louder as we get deeper into the weekend in a full count.
O'Donnell trying to hit that same spot that she struck Prange out last at bat, except it was a little bit harder. But can only assume that Prange is coming up into this bat with redemption on her mind.
The 3-2, O'Donnell fires. And with 1 out, Prange standing at first.
Ball's a tad bit high. I think the good thing about this is they have 1 out, so a chance for the Sharks to induce a ground ball of some sort. Maybe turn a double play, get out of this inning, and keep the deficit at 3. Give them a chance to win or score some runs.
Patrick Murphy going to bring in a pinch runner. Faith Hensley, the graduate student, transfer from Ball State. Monroe, Ohio native. Has appeared in 44 games this year, make it 45 with 23 starts.
It's tough to win a ball game when people aren't hot at the right times and performing when you have runners in scoring position.
Well, that was the first walk issued by Alyssa O'Donnell. Hensley now at first, Dowling the hitter. Drove in a run in her first plate appearance.
I think last pitch they set it up. It's a pitch out. Could see Garcia on her feet to try to catch her out early and maybe get a head start on throwing her out at second if she stole.
And the 1-1. Outside. Has anything stood out from you in watching what's been happening nationally so far today as the postseason begins around the country?
Today I've been with you all day. Haven't been able to keep tracks. I've gotten some texts here and there about what's going on, some scores. But did see that Tennessee, like I mentioned,
right,
I believe they run ruled.
You see UCF leading South Carolina by a score of 2-1 in Tallahassee. And the Lady Vols run ruled the Norse of Northern Kentucky by a score of 12-0.
Florida over LMU 3-2.
No cheering in the press box, please. 3-2 the count. A big moment here. Alabama leading LIU by a score of 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Sharks have produced just 1 hit. O'Donnell in the circle for the NEC champs. Keeping her team in it so far. Big moment here and the payoff.
down the left field line. Foul territory, enough room, and in and out of the glove. No, it was caught off the carom. Okada came up with it. And a quick toss back to first. Hensley fortunate to make it back in time. I saw the ball pop out. Our view is a bit scattered down that. So one of the more entertaining second outs you'll ever see. And a tip of the cap to Alyssa Okada out in left field, who came up with a play. In a big moment, no less. And we'll see if that provides a spark to LIU, Alicia.
Yeah, and I would also tip my cap to O'Donnell right now. 3.2 innings with only 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. She is doing her job, giving them a chance to win right now. Also, the defense working. You can't give pitcher credit without giving credit to their defense.
Allie Shipman is 1 for 2 after Dowling fouls out to deep left field. We've seen so many spectacular defensive plays in this game, enough for perhaps the entire weekend.
These players know what it means, and they're making every moment count on the field right now to be able to secure some wins.
Middle Tennessee awaits the winner. That game at 1 o'clock tomorrow. That's 1 Eastern here in Tuscaloosa. Runner goes, and a shot deep left field again. Okada can't catch this one. Here come the Tide. Allie Shipman, the hard-hitting catcher, home run number 5, and it's 5-0.
So much energy here in the ballpark. Allie Shipman just takes this pitch that is elevated over the heart of the plate and drives it deep into left field, over the fence. Another skyscraping ball, giving Alabama some more insurance runs. That was the pitch that Coach Murphy was talking about, that the Alabama hitters need to hit to be successful off of O'Donnell.
Another 2-out hit for the Crimson Tide. 5 tonight, and that has been the difference. We talked to Allie Shipman yesterday here in the press box. First time I've had a chance to sit down and catch up with her. And about 3 sentences in, I stopped her and I said, Allie, you sound like a broadcaster. And she goes, you know who my sister is, right? And I said, I do. And now I understand.
I was like, do you want to just take the uniform off and put on business attire and come in the booth during the game? Or
well, she would be the candidate to get mic'd up at some point in time and have her play and call the game.
Yes,
she could
extremely
do
well
it.
Spoken. Extremely well spoken. Talked a little bit about her sister. I asked her, you know, obviously your sister was a great softball player as is, but how do you forge your own path? How do you differentiate yourself, and how was it growing up in the household? And, you know, she said that she did not want to play the infield. So she made her own path behind the plate, becoming one of the nation's greatest catchers, but also spoke to how competitive their household is.
And I would argue, too, making your own path at the University of Alabama and what she's done here after starting her career at Tennessee.
Making an immediate impact, earning honors. First year here at Alabama.
Yeah, the one word that stood out in that whole conversation, and you mentioned life growing up in the Shipman household, compete. Everything was competitive. She said they've had nights going bowling, and it doesn't end well at times because everybody wants to win.
No, she actually said they can't play board games, and they actually played horse a few years ago, and it got a little dicey. Those are the words that she used, and we had a little chuckle out of that one.
Payoff pitch, fly ball to left. This one is going to be held in by the ballpark, and Okada brings it in as Broadfoot is A couple of home runs, Hevelin and Shipman. That has been more than enough for Torrance in the circle tonight. The only hit, double by Maya Avila. She was erased on the double play. The next hitter, Narvaez, the shot over to right field that we talked about. Tuscaloosa comes to life. Mayhem is here. Crimson Tide trying to make it back to the Women's College World Series. Only 3 hitters have reached a 3-ball count tonight. Check that, 5 hitters have. And all 5 were retired. Winner of this Tuscaloosa Regional will match up with the winner of the Northwestern Regional up in Evanston. Got Kentucky, Miami of Ohio, Eastern Illinois all participating, along with the team out of the Big Ten, the host school.
Alabama trying to make it back after getting upset by Stanford last year.
A lot of people think that Stanford is going to have a lot to deal with Florida going out to Palo Alto. The Gators on the road for the first time in as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I think since 2008, Coach Wallen hasn't been on the road for a regional, but I think it humbles you a little bit. I mean, they've been really good offensively, but to go in and face Nigeri Kennedy, who's been really good this year.
She has been one of these stories. How about Pruitt in right field? A big-time story here. And Rhodes comes alive again.
I think I'm going to bring Pruitt my glove to sign after this game. Off the bat, she knows she's going to catch it. I think the mantra as an outfielder is don't let anything drop, and she took that to heart, and she is taking it to heart with all the web gems that she's had tonight.
What does that do for Jayla Torrance in the circle to see that kind of defense, those kinds of plays happening almost in routine fashion tonight?
I mean, it gives you so much confidence, not only in yourself, but in your team, to know that you can go in, step on the rubber, and be calm, cool, and collected, and just throw your game. Give it your best stuff, not try to be too perfect, because you know your defense is behind you, and they're going to lay it out on the line, pun intended, for you in the circle. So it gives you a lot of confidence.
Second plate appearance for Alyssa Okada.
Torrance, with the count being 1-2, having a little bit of wiggle room. Be able to try to get Okada to get herself out. She's been going down in the zone today with that changeup, drop ball.
4 strikeouts in the 1-2. Slow roller over to third. Prange in time.
And the crowd goes wild for that. Yet another web gem and great play by Prange. Okada doing all that she can on that pitch, but Prange just throwing on the run. You have to be athletic in order to even make that play on the run, knowing that Okada's going to get down that line fast. It's a really good athletic play. Can't teach that instinct.
This one will sneak past Prange into left field. A sliding stop by Stevens. And a 2-out double off the bat of Alexia Castro. Second hit of the night for LIU.
Torrance just a little bit too plated. Prange driving over to the left, the third base line, not able to grab it, but a really good stop in left field to be able to get that ball to the infield so she doesn't take third base.
An opportunity back to the top of the order for Cam Lyman. He's flied out twice tonight. Once to center field, the other time to left. talked to Cam yesterday, the psychology major. I said, do you utilize any of that playing softball? And she goes, well, you can look at body language. There are some things, but probably not. She goes, I get asked that question a lot. You see where she ranks in terms of the LIU all-time marks, and for 2 all-time in hits, 6 away from becoming #1. Ball and 2 strikes to count here. She told us the only thing she wanted to do in college was win a conference championship and play in a regional. She has achieved that goal here tonight. And she delivers a clutch 2-out knock. Roy Cortman puts on the stop sign. And Castro stuck at third, runners at the corners with 2 outs.
How clutch is that hit by Lyman? Behind in the count, drives this pitch, not doing too much, into the 5-6 hole for a hit. Now runners on the corners with 2 outs. If there's any time that they're gonna chip away and get some more runs, it's gonna be now.
Sharks are trying to get back in it, seeking their first NCAA tournament win since 2010. Hard to believe that was 13 years ago, but that is accurate.
2010 is when I started high school. It's quite a while.
That's gonna take me a moment.
That's all right.
Big moment for LIU.
Big moment, big momentum. Right now for Alabama, they have some cushion. In the top of the 6th, 5-0. I don't think they try to do too much. Just focus on getting this last out. They have an opportunity right now to go to second for a force out if the opportunity presents itself. But I would not be too worried about this runner on third base scoring. They just want to get that last out.
Medina, the pinch hitter. A freshman out of Glendale, California. Coach Cortman loves to recruit out west. 11 players on the roster near that West Coast. Castro at third, Lyman at first, and swatted foul into the heart of the net.
Talked a little bit about the weather over there too yesterday. It's been raining a lot, I guess, over in California.
You know, I don't mind talking about the weather. Yes.
Exactly why I brought it up.
I appreciate you. The Sharks would love to kind of keep things going. Golden opportunity now, a 2 balls and 1 strike count. There's Castro. And there's Lyman. 2-2. And now Torrance a strike away. Alex Salter getting loose in the Alabama pin. Right-hander.
Talk about Montana Fouts being out, maybe needing to use a whole staff.
The 2-2 to second. Hevelin inning over. LIU strands a pair. 5-0 our score. Here in the Rhodes House. Back in Tuscaloosa tonight, 5-0 our score. Alabama, the number 5 national seed, with the advantage. Here in the bottom of the 6th. Crimson Tide would love to put on a couple of more runs of insurance. Hevelin will lead things off. 2-run blast, her 7th of the season. That coming back in the 2nd inning. Alicia told us, not sure this one ever came down. It was a moonshot here at Rhodes.
Moonshot indeed. That pitch a little bit too elevated. And she took full advantage, getting her barrel behind it and sending it all the way over left field fence.
For Middle Tennessee watching this game tonight, they shut out Central Arkansas the first game here in the Tuscaloosa Regional.
What's the mentality? Can they be dialed in to this kind of matchup, or are they focused on themselves, in your opinion?
I think you definitely have to look at it like a me versus me kind of thing. Middle Tennessee coming out on top, knowing that they might potentially face the #5 seed, one of the top teams in the nation. You can't necessarily look at the logo on their chest. You have to kind of look inward and know what kind of game that you have, what you can do on the field, how you can produce, scout, try to get things done, play textbook softball, do little things right, but also try not to make mistakes.
Evelyn strikes out. O'Donnell battles back for out #1 here in the 6th. Second strikeout for Alyssa O'Donnell, who has been really outstanding coming out of the bullpen. 4 1/3 innings, giving up just 2 runs, 4 hits.
I think it's been really impressive to see how she's bounced back after Allie Shipman's home run, the fly out to left, and then now a strikeout.
Here's Jordan Stevens. So bigger questions for Alabama the rest of this weekend. Of course, we wonder about Montana Fouts. We talked about her earlier tonight, listed as day-to-day, hyperextension of the knee. And then also, we found out shortly before first pitch, no Jenna Johnson. And you wonder her health. We talked to her yesterday, no indication that she wouldn't be able to go tonight. But certainly checks a lot of boxes for head coach Patrick Murphy this season. Jordan Stevens has done a great job up the bat right now over in left field. Made a nice play. Rise ball makes it 1-2.
I think so far, you know, with going into postseason, you've already played essentially 2 seasons with preseason and then conference. Your body's bound to have its tweaks, and
she went down to get it and golfed it straight away center, and Blanchard the second out.
your body's bound to have those little tweaks and fatigues, but I think you just got to roll with the punches, try to take care and manage your body as best as possible. And in this instance, Patrick Murphy's going to have to look to his other players to pick up the slack and essentially just kind of rise to the occasion.
I remember talking to a coach one time in the sport. They mentioned losing a star player. A lot of times a team can respond right away, but it's the first time that adversity strikes where everybody starts to look around and say, okay, who's going to pull us out of this? If a Montana Fouts isn't in the circle, you lose a player like Jenna Johnson, at least for tonight.
And I think that separates the good teams from the great. Do you sink or do you swim? Do you look at this as an opportunity to use it as motivation and momentum, play for those players that aren't necessarily able to get out in the fields?
Over to third, Padilla, another nice play, but the throw unable to be brought in by Avila. And the inning continues with Kristen White aboard. Third time tonight that's happened in one way, shape, or form.
White hitting it right into Padilla's glove, but Padilla not able to get this throw on line to the first baseman. This is the second time tonight that White has hit it to Padilla, and the second time that she's gotten on base with hitting it to Padilla.
First error of the game for either side. E5 back to the top of the order.
White last at bat, peppered it right back up the middle, even with the shift that the Sharks had on.
She brings a lot to the table. Only a freshman, and you can understand she is going to wreak havoc on the SEC in the coming years.
And I like the word that you just used. It's exactly what I was thinking. She's going to create havoc. You're not going to know how to defend her. And even if you think you know how to defend her, it's still hard to defend her. As you've seen tonight with the balls going to Padilla, her speed, you have to be able to secure the ball, take care of the ball, and then also make a good throw, and an accurate one at that, because White is so fast. Wonder what pitch she'll steal on today.
It's not if, it's when.
But you know, to my point earlier, Roy, teams, they have the ability to sink or swim when they're faced with adversity. And I think we've seen tonight that Alabama is choosing to use that as motivation.
It's worked out so far. Down the left field line, that'll stay in fair territory. Okada catches up to it. 5-0 our score. LIU down to its final 3 outs.
All in all, when you look at this sheet.
First pitch into right field. That one is sent. Palomini getting it done. 3, 4, and 5 due up first for the Sharks, who still have life and 3 outs to play with.
I think when you look at that sheet, you can just note that how strong Alabama has been under Patrick Murphy. I mean, the teams have changed through and through, but I think it's a tip of your cap to Patrick Murphy and what he's done with the program.
NEC champions well represented here in the Deep South. And right behind the first base dugout, team, the fans staying at our hotel, and they have celebrated graduation last night in grand fashion.
Those moments are important too. You're on the road, you're sacrificing so much of your time, so it was nice that they were able to set up a graduation. They had some of their family members there as well. We got to see some pictures of them celebrating, and they went all out too. They had some streamers, they had some stuff hanging up. They even had their gowns. So I was impressed that they packed that with them.
Ball and 2 strikes.
But congratulations to all the graduating student athletes.
Padilla 0 for 2, stays alive. Speaking of graduation, on the road in Tuscaloosa. This is what it looked like. And that'll be a memory for a lifetime. Coach Cortman, family, and just an absolute spectacular scene. I saw some of the players walking around afterwards. All smiles here in T-Town.
I'm sure they do not mind that they're not walking across the stage.
Yeah, those ceremonies get a little monotonous, a little long, don't they? I mean,
a little bit. I was kind of waiting for the moment I could walk on stage at Florida. Took a while, but we did it. But I meant that because they're here competing in a regional.
Over to third, could be 2. Pranky, the turn. Not in time. Good hustle by Padilla. There's one away.
Jayla Torrance again utilizing that drop ball to induce a ground ball. Actually pranging over there at third base with the quickness and that sense of urgency, knowing that she has an opportunity to get 2.
There's Maya Avila. And the double in the second inning, one of a couple of extra base hits.
Torrance just gassed that one in there at 68. The crowd clapping and celebrating that pitch.
We can't talk about her performance in the circle tonight without Montana Fouts. Wonder if multiple pitchers are going to be needed. So far, the answer is a resounding no, and that certainly bodes well for the rest of this weekend for head coach Patrick Murphy. It's been a really fun first day in the Tuscaloosa Regional. Middle Tennessee shut out Central Arkansas 8-0. Alabama on the verge perhaps of pitching its own shutout.
We talked about those pitchers' pitches earlier in the day during the first game. I think that was a really good pitcher's pitch, a pitch that might not necessarily be a strike, but close enough to where you might actually get the call.
And LIU down to its final out. Strikeout number 5 for our player that has captured tonight's Capital One rewarding performance. Jayla Torrance, what else can we say? When Alabama needed it the most, she has delivered.
Jayla just getting the job done in the circle.
First start since mid-March. Narvaez, a big swing. And it's looking like Alabama and Middle Tennessee tomorrow. 1 o'clock Eastern, weather permitting. LIU's going to have to find a way to survive against Central Arkansas, barring a miracle here.
Crowd on their feet. Now sitting down. As I say, crowd on their feet.
Already a season high in terms of innings tossed by Torrance. How about a complete game? 5-0, a shutout victory for the Crimson Tide. And the number 5 national seed put on a show tonight in Tuscaloosa, led by Jayla Torrance.
What a great performance by Jayla Torrance, the right-handed pitcher, coming in, shutting the Long Island Sharks down, throwing a complete game, 7 innings, only giving up 4 hits, no runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts.